Welcome back to another Let's Draw. My name is Nikki and this is Nikki's Journey to Mastery. Today we're doing a portrait, a very beautiful experiment. I hope you like this one. Let's jump into it. So today's painting was a color experiment. So this is kind of a continuation of what I did with, what was it called? Wistful Gaze, I think, the one with the skin goals one. This is kind of a continuation of that intention. I wanted to practice some more with different kinds of skin tones, not necessarily skin tones, but like colors on skin based on the environment, based on the flesh of the skin or things like that. Just something that kind of wakes up the skin painting. I just wanted to improve my skin painting and make it more vibrant or more interesting. So this was a continuation of that project. I actually painted this quite almost exactly like another painting that I found on Pinterest. I changed up a few things, like the background's a little different and the hair I detailed a lot more than the actual reference that I was using, but the majority of the concept of this piece is pretty much spot on of the reference. So I consider this more a study than an actual personal piece. That being said, I still really like how it came out. I was struggling a little bit with a few aspects, like I was trying to make like light coming through the trees on the skin, and I looked up a few references that could help me do this, but unfortunately I wasn't able to understand what was happening with the light on the skin, and I don't know if I pulled it off correctly. I don't know if it looks like what I'm trying for it to be. I mean it comes close, so honestly I am still happy with the final result. I'm looking at the final piece now, and some of the areas look a little weird, like it doesn't quite make sense, but it's still cool and I still like it. But as I normally like to do when I do pieces from imagination, although this wasn't entirely from imagination, the piece I was using as a reference was not very clear. It was like very painterly, so there weren't a lot of details, so I kind of had to figure out some of the details for myself, which is good practice. So I did do a color mock-up first, which already passed, and I figured out where I was going to put all of the lights and shadows, and how I was going to do the highlights on the skin and the color for the clothing and all of that. And then I went to this stage where I actually blocked in all the colors. And one thing I've been finding useful, something that I actually really like doing now, is instead of using my pen tool with the hard edge, blocking in colors, is using my softer brush, the one that I use for rendering, and blocking in the colors that way, because it kind of gives it a softer edge of the laying down of the colors, and I can layer things, so I can kind of create gradients from the get-go. I found that kind of helpful for me to visualize where I was going with the piece. So I started doing that a little bit more often. Not every time. Sometimes I still go back to the solid blocking in method, but I do find that I've been doing that on and off lately, where I'll use my soft brush. See, now I'm messing with the highlight on the skin, that yellow, and I was back and forth with the ones in the arm. I couldn't figure out, do I blur some of the edges? Do I leave it hard edge? Do I leave it with that lighter, paler color around the edge? I ended up doing that in the end. And one of the things I did notice on the reference that I was using is some around those bright yellow lights, there was this orange tinge around the edge, and I think that is a natural phenomenon, but I couldn't quite figure it out while I was working on it at this step. So I think I do add that at the end, because I can see it at the end. I can see the orangey tinge to the edges of the light spots, but I don't do that till later. As usual, I start with rendering the nose. I don't know, something about doing the nose is because it's like a quick and simple way to bring the face to life, just having this like 3D object sitting on the face. So I always like to do the nose first. But one thing I really enjoyed about this piece was definitely the oranges in the skin, in the next to the shadows. So they're all, you know, on the left side because the shadow's on that side. That was something definitely I picked up from the reference, and I really, really enjoyed that look. So I actually, the one I'm working on right now, kind of has a little bit of this aspect to it. It's a lot more orangey skin tones. You'll see when I post it next week. But that I definitely enjoyed that, and at first I wasn't sure if my rendition of it was good, like I was actually doing it right. But the more I looked at it and the more I kind of, you know, messed with it, it started to work, and I really liked it. I decided to keep her eyes jet black because I thought it would kind of add to the earthy feel of the piece. And I just added some, you know, simple highlights to her eyes. I didn't really go crazy with the highlights in the eyes. I kind of like it, and it kind of added to the cartoony style of the drawing too, because, you know, her eyes are, you know, much bigger, the more anime style. It's not quite as realistic. And that was also from the reference. So this was, like I said, more of a study than an actual piece from imagination, but I still learned a lot doing this. Definitely I enjoyed it thoroughly. One thing I definitely enjoyed was doing the lips. I messed around with the teeth. Like I was trying to like detail the teeth at first. I was like, ew. So I decided to just do like some highlights and like maybe a little indication of the middle, the two front teeth. And I like that much better. But I used my method that I taught in my lip tutorial to do the lips, where I cut off the edges and just did it and blur, so it kind of makes the bottom lip fade a little bit, and then, you know, nice little highlights make it look nice and glossy. And I really liked her lips on this one. It really came out nice. I think one of the things that I was really intimidated about, and I was like, why did I do this to myself, was the hair, because I was doing locks, but I really wanted it to be locks. I really wanted it to be a specific kind of locks, and I had looked up references for what I wanted. I didn't get it to look exactly like the reference, but it came close enough, and I really liked how it came out. So I was intimidated because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to draw these one by one. But it turned out much easier than I thought. I didn't actually have to detail them one by one. I drew, like, painted the borders between each lock, so like the shadows going around each lock. And then I used, for the highlight, I used my hair paint brush, which when we get to it, you'll see the brush that I use for painting hair and paint tool side. So I used that so that it had a little texture, and I was able to add the highlights and so it looked like the strands, the individual strands, without like a lot of work. So that came out really nice. And I finally did the sunbeams, and I really like how they came out. That was, again, another thing directly from the reference. So it's not super original, but I thought it came out really nice, and it made my highlights on the skin work more, so they didn't look quite out of place as they might have if I didn't have those light beams coming down. But yeah, here we're at the hair now. So yeah, just like I said, I added the border, kind of like adding the lines to each lock, but making them thicker so it looks more like a shadow, and some basic highlighting with my hairbrush. And it came out really nice. I really like it. I love everything about this picture. Like, at first I wasn't sure I was gonna love the final piece, but I definitely do. I love how it came out, and I think I want to work on this kind of thing more in the future with the skin. Definitely get more pieces with the skin looking like this. I think it will be a lot of fun, and I think very satisfying too, because I really want to improve painting skin. So if I work on pieces that look like this or have other interesting aspects done to the skin, I think that would be a great improvement to my painting style and my painting technique and my understanding too of painting skin. But yeah, we're coming close to the end of this. I add that little highlight to the back of the hair that I got from another piece that I saw somewhere. And I just love how it looked in that piece. It doesn't quite work with this hair, but I think it still came out nice. But here are the close-ups. Let's take a look. Yeah, so there we have it. Sunbeams. I really love this. I kind of imagine Sunbeam being her name. I don't know why, but it kind of feels fitting that her name is Sunbeam and she's in Sunbeams. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this painting and enjoyed my talk through. Feel free to leave comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know about your own painting journey. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.